What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we got a doozy for you. I hope you're not doing these mistakes because they are two deadly mistakes that contractors make. They're very common. If we can help you wake up to it, and if you're not doing it, you're going to get a good laugh. A lot of contractors are losing leads, losing business, losing money because they're making these two mistakes. I got my boy Chris Lonergan from Footbridge Media here on the line. This video is geared towards the marketing mind and mistakes when it comes to leads, prospecting, and Google. Maybe we can help cull some of these out of your tool belt to make more money in the long run. If you're wanting to get a website done for your contractor business, these guys are the best in the business. They've been open since 2004, so right at about 20-year mark anniversary now for Footbridge Media. Give them a call over there. I put the number at the bottom of the screen. Aaron O'Hanlon, the owner, will answer. He's a straight shooter. He's a guy who'll tell you like it is. He's great. And you'll get the $199 deal if you mention Lean and Me. That's me. And you'll save like $600 a year by mentioning my name over there. So go ahead. I'll put the link in the description and comments. After this video's done, give them a call. What's up, Chris? How you doing today, brother?
Doing good. How are you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing excellent. A lot of contractors, look, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to make them once, maybe even twice. Give them a little grace period, okay? But we cannot keep repeating these mistakes over and over again. The point of a mistake is to learn from it and to not do it again. A lot of dudes get stuck in this vortex of expectation where it doesn't seem like it's a mistake. It doesn't seem like it's costing you money, but yet it's costing you thousands of dollars. We compiled a list before we did this video. So Chris, what's our first mistake? I wouldn't say it's the number one, but it's the first of two.
The first mistake is not immediately processing those leads. If you get a phone call, if you get an email, if you get a text message, you can't just sit and wait. It doesn't matter if you're in the middle of something. If you're an AC guy, you're in someone's attic. If you are pressure washing and you are soaking wet, it doesn't matter. You need to process that lead now. Every second that you're not answering the call, every second that voicemail's sitting there, if they're fortunate enough to leave you a voicemail, every moment that goes by is another moment they get closer to using another contractor, to hiring your closest competitor to give them the job instead of you. And you don't know who that person is calling. It could be a small job. Sure, it might be a little driveway cleaning, but maybe it's a commercial property job. Maybe it's a really lucrative job that you just missed out because you were too busy and wanted to take a minute before you answered the phone call, before you return that text message. You got to jump on the leads when they come in. Otherwise, all of your marketing, no matter how much time, money, effort you put into advertising, is completely worthless.
Who did I remember when I was pressure washing? They didn't have a call come in and I was soaking wet. You know, you're up on one of those little awnings, like you're in the middle of the house, you're cleaning and you're cleaning like the TPO roof off. Call comes in, you're like, I'm just trying to get down off of here. I got bleach everywhere. I got to rinse this bleach off. Even me, I would see the call come in from my answering team. I'd get the email. I'd be like, I'll call them here in a minute. I'd come down off the ladder and turns out I'd forget. I'd get on something else and it was 6 p.m. And I remember trying to call them. They're not in the office anymore. You lost the lead. They called somebody else. And a lot of times these leads, guys, you have probably like a 5 to 10 minute window. Ideally, you just answer the phone. But if they do leave a message, calling them back that second is ideal. The customers, if you don't answer the phone, they go immediately to that next person in Google and they call. And they're going to call. They're going to go down that list until they find somebody, preferably who just answers the phone and gets them a quote and preferably a price. They're trying to get to this place where that decision-making process starts happening as soon as possible. So if somebody says, hey, you answer the phone, you say, hey, I'd love to come by and I'll give you a quote. It'll be next Monday. It's like Thursday right now. But then they call somebody else after this. Somebody says, no, man, I can see your place right here. It's on Google. That falls under our flat rate here at about $4.95 for that place. I have a spot next Monday available if you want to book it. And they book it with that person because the customer got to that decision-making process quicker. These people are not interested in knowing you, and you're not interested in really knowing them. The best customers are this way. They're interested in getting a quote, getting on the schedule, you doing the job, and now their house looks really clean. Okay. Chris, tell me that story of that one guy who you guys had.
Yeah. So we have So when you use Google Ad Services with us, we're able to call track because we want to make sure that we're doing a good job for you. And we want to make sure that we're tracking to see, is this a relevant call? Is this a good lead? We had a guy who got a phone call to do some work at a golf course. The golf course was looking to replace the vendor they used last year. They didn't like him anymore. This guy said, I'm driving right now. Can you call me back later? And hung up the phone. That contractor had thrown away at least a 5-figure job, possibly 6 figures over time if you have repeat business with that customer, or they give you good referrals for other golf courses. Just an insane amount of money given away to another contractor because they didn't want to take the time to pull over and finish a phone call. I don't care where you're at. If you pull over into a ditch and you've got a McDonald's bag, you can jot down some notes to get that job. That's what you do at that point. You have to answer the call. It's one of my biggest pet peeves is calling a contractor and getting a voicemail or it's full because then you're going to get a nasty gram from me via email. You can't be not answering phone calls. You can't be sending people to voicemail. You can't be telling someone who wants to give you money, hey, can you call me back later? You can't do that and then complain you're not getting enough leads, that you're not busy enough, that you're not getting the work.
Boy, you better put that Z71 in the ditch.
Hard hit in the shoulders. That's fine.
You know, some of you guys you're brand new, right? Call teams aren't expensive, okay? You know, they grow with you, right? So when you start off with a call team, you know, you're probably paying like $150 a month or something for it. And then as your lead volume grows, the price grows because the minutes and the time taken grows. So there's no excuse to not have someone answering the phone at some point in time, right? But the issue is a lot of guys will see a number come in and it's an out-of-state area code or something. Guys, that's 1998 thinking. There's a lot of people who keep their cell phone from where they grew up, me included. I'm in Nashville. I still have an Alabama area code. So the issue is, what if I called a contractor here in Nashville? He was all old school about it. He saw a 251 area code and he's like, oh, that's not 615. I'm not answering. That's probably some salesman or some spam calls. You know, it's like, well, he just lost my business. That is the most common thing where people keep their area code from where they grew up because everyone has that number. So you have to answer the phone. This dude missed out on probably, I would hesitate to say, $50,000 minimum from a golf course when it comes to Christmas lighting. They want to give it to someone. Christmas lights, they're willing to pay for that special time of year to have all those people there for their little gala. Answer the damn phone. Why is this so common, Chris? Do you know, can we solve the world's problems today?
I think as a lot of folks, they get so busy in the work, they get so ingrained in what they're doing. You're driving to the next job, your brain is thinking about the next job, or maybe you just sat down to lunch and you're thinking, I just worked real hard today. You didn't earn anything. You're not answering the phone call for you. You're answering the phone for your business. How your business works is not how you work. Even though you're your own boss, the business owns you in that moment. When that business phone rings, you are the business. You're not you. Doesn't matter if you're tired. Doesn't matter if you're wet. Doesn't matter if you're hot. You have to answer the phone. Otherwise, if you're spending money on ads, Google ads, if that was a $20 call that just came through, just throw $20 out of your truck window.
Bro, I remember iPhones started becoming water resistant a few years ago. And I would have my phone in my pocket and it would ring and it would just be wet. You can't touch the buttons correctly. It doesn't know what your finger is or what the water is. Or I have these rubber gloves on that are soaked with bleach. I get it. It's a problem. But starting any business, this is part of the process, right? You don't have a team. If you don't have a call team, especially a team of people who are in the office answering the phone, this is just the normal thing. So answer the phone. I've missed, not on purpose. So I'm not absolved from this. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I've missed many leads before because I was just too busy in the moment to stop. And you can't do that. You have to stop, put the gun down and answer the phone. Eventually, Chris, I got a call team that took all of that weight off of me and I could see the call come in. I put a criteria if they wouldn't give my team their email and their name and their address so we could look it up and give them a quote, then I didn't want the lead anyway. I had so many leads coming in that I was able to cull the herd a little bit. You know, there were people who would come through and they're like, well, I don't want to give you my email. And it's like, well, you're probably a weirdo. You don't really want me to clean your stuff. you're one of them nitpicker folks. And I don't, I got to a point where I would just be able to really pick the clientele I wanted to work for. It was only the clientele who would abdicate to my company's process, albeit it was a very simple process. It was name, address, phone number, email, what do you want us to do? And that's it. That's all you would have to tell my call team. If they wouldn't do those things, it would be probably a half phone call, or it would say they wouldn't give me their email in the log. And I'd be like, well, I'm not calling you back. You can call somebody else and talk to them about how I'm going to spam you or the emails. It was one of those things, but you got to have enough leads to start being particular like that
before you can pick and choose.
Yes, that takes a good long while. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. 2 deadly sins, 2 deadly mistakes contractors make. These cost you money for sure. Probably to the tune of, how many thousands do you think, Chris, this costs per month?
If you miss 1 call a week and your average ticket's $250, so you're losing at least $1,000 every month. And that's if you miss 1 call, and that's if you're being real good. Now think about it really. How many of those texts do you not answer? How many emails do you miss? How many phone calls do you miss? Like you said, you get those out-of-state calls, you don't answer them. That's your average ticket cost every single time. At worst, you miss a really good commercial job where you're talking about 5-6 figures, something that can really set you up, something that's going to prepay for your marketing for a decade that you missed because of a simple missed phone call.
Do you know what's wild? We forgot number 2. We forgot to mention. Dude, let's run this. Look, the second one, and Chris, you told me this, I think you had some really good examples, is be willing to be bad before you're good. Tell me a little bit about that paradigm, that mindset of being willing to suck at it until you're good at it.
That's the thing. I feel like so many contractors are good at their trade. They're afraid to take that step into marketing, into business development, and it's unfamiliar territory. So I absolutely get it. Getting into it is weird, but you have to try. You can't wait to take photos of your work because you feel like you're not good at doing it. You can't wait to write a blog post because you feel like you're not good at writing or you can't communicate what you want. You can't wait to start a website because, I'm just a new business. I didn't really have enough money yet. I can't start a website. You have to be bad at it before you can get good at it. Earn the time on the job and think about those 10,000 hours that everyone has to put in to become an expert. You have to start with that first thing. It doesn't matter if the first picture of your first project is bad. You still have to take the picture. You still have to post it. You have to put forward the effort to start pushing that block up the hill so that you can gain momentum over time. And that's what will make things easier. That's what will make you better at it, is you flexing that muscle, exercising that skill, and doing that thing that you're bad at now. That's the only way you're going to get good at it.
I'm kind of a living example of sucking until you're good at something. I've never found the cheat code of being good at it immediately. You think, no, you want to learn it, it's going to be blood, sweat, and tears. But luckily, once you learn what Google wants and how to give it to Google, you'll start seeing massive returns and it stops becoming hard. It's actually very easy. You just don't understand the information. You don't understand what you need to do. And Footbridge is one of those groups. They're going to tell you exactly what you need to do. After they build the website, they write all the copy. But when it comes to Google, your Google business profile and the main movers that you need to implement into your daily business life, right? It's only a few. You just got to do those little things every single day, get reviews, do some other things on your Google business profile. It's simple stuff, but a lot of guys never cut to the chase. It's the fog of war, if you will. They don't know which way is up. So the easiest thing to do is give up and say, well, I don't know how to do it. So therefore, I guess this time is going to suck and then I'm just going to quit. But I need you to stick and stay in the process and ask questions and come to, we have a free event down at Southeast Soft Wash coming up, big event coming up. Come learn. There's a bunch of people there who are going to be just like you and a lot of people who are way further down the line than you. And if you just ask questions and learn, ask Footbridge, ask them to tell you what you need to do every single day. It's easy, man. You're going to suck in the beginning. That's part of the process. You don't have a brand to mess up. So many people, they're worried about, this photo that I took, it doesn't look good, so I'm not going to post it. And it lives and dies in their iPhone. No, post it, man. Post it. Even though you're not very good at this, post it. Because tomorrow you'll be a little better. The next day you'll be a little better. And 6 months from now, it's almost unquantifiable how much better you're going to be. You think you have a brand right now because you got a logo on Fiverr, and now you have a brand to destroy. No one knows who you are yet. So just do the actions, do the things that we're telling you to do. 6 months from now, you'll be able to look back and see how far you've come. A year from now, you'll look back and see how far you're coming. It's going to be so far. I urge you, if you're willing to do that, to go out and get yourself a big old fat steak and get you a nice cigar and enjoy the process of development. Remember how bad you sucked back in the day, right? Like, I have to go there because sometimes we can't, because we are who we are now. We're not who we were, right? So remembering those days of how difficult it was for your brain to process some of these things, but yet now how good you are at processing some of these things and how laser focused and easy it is to implement some of these simple things. You just don't have the information yet, right? So be willing to suck before you're good. Be a constant student of the game. Pay for the training. Look, it doesn't have to be my training. Pay for someone's training. Come to one of our events. Stay in the game. We got a great guy, Mark Hilby in Washington. This dude has the best attitude of anyone. And Marco's had a rough go at life, but he completely changed his paradigm, the way he's going to do multiple six figures this year, probably over 300,000. I don't want to shoot him short, but he started with us about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that, taking his time, doing his thing, but just very attentive to doing what you told him to do. And he just goes and does it. Like, he just implements, and he's like, oh, wow, it works. What's up? It's cool. Finally. That's it. Yeah, it works. And now he's doubled down on it. And he's like, oh, okay, well, if I put one log on the fire, what if I put 2 logs on the fire? You know what I mean? The fire gets bigger. And he's just a guy that is easy to love. He's got a great attitude. Shout out to Mark out there in Washington with Grace Pressure Washing. Guys, thanks for tuning in today. If you want to get your website done, get Footbridge Media. Mention me, Lean and Mean, and you'll save a bunch of money. Chris, anything before we wrap up?
That's it. You have to answer the phone call. Make sure you got the voicemail set up, answer your phone calls, and start now. Don't start tomorrow. Start now.
You can't blame the market if you ain't answering the phone. You can't answer the phone. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.